I think Kyle Shanahan showed you as a coach last year, Baldy. Like, he didn't have Fred Warner. He didn't have Nick Bosa for most of the season. He got nothing from Brandon Ayuk. You lost George Kittle. You lost Brock Purdy for a huge chunk of the season. And yet, they had a chance to win that division that was so freaking loaded. I mean, that gave me all the confidence in the world heading into this season. If they can stay healthy, they got action. No, it's a good point. Les Snead, it feels like, they had the meme for the kids. They always say, F them picks is what Les Snead does, right? He says, hey, go give me the proven commodity now. I'll figure it out later. But when he does make the pick, Baldy, to your point, and he hits on a Jared Verse, that's another asset he has in the back pocket to go get a guy like a Myles Garrett. It's why everyone else is freaking out here over in Ninerland, right? I'm in San Francisco. I'm in Oakland right now, the Bay Area. They're like, man, why weren't we in on this guy? Well, you have to have the assets that another team wants, right? And Andrew Berry, the GM, was outspoken today saying, hey, we weren't doing this deal unless Jared Verse was a part of it. So you have to give credit to Les Snead. When he does have the picks, he nails those too.
No, but look, if just as the 49ers, let's just say, like, they're not taking Mykel Williams. Like, he might become a Jared Verse, but with the injury that he had last year, no, they didn't have anybody on their roster defensively that they could plug in and play. Okay, he's not Myles, but he's a very good player. And anybody that plays against Jared Verse knows that guy's got a lot of power. He plays the game the right way. They hit on that pick. That was a first-round pick. And he's still on a rookie contract. So Cleveland doesn't have to pay him this year. They don't have to pay him next year if they don't want to. They can let him prove himself and to see what he can become. They got the defensive player of the year last year, a rookie of the year, in Carson Schlesinger. Like, they hit on a lot of good picks last year in their draft. And Andrew Berry's like, look, we could probably add assets, add good young players to a team that's not ready to compete in the AFC right now. But by next year, if they get the quarterback situation figured out, they might very well be able to.
You look at this division, Baldy, the NFC West. You had three different teams in the playoffs last year. Obviously, the Niners, you had the defending champ Seahawks, and the Rams. How are you kind of stacking it up now with this Myles Garrett trade? Or did you already have the Rams as the favorite heading into it, which is insane considering the Seahawks and how dominant that defense was last year? They're bringing back most of their guys.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've had Seattle still because of the champion. And so, too, you defeat the champion. And Seattle defeated the Rams in the NFC Championship game. It was a great game. High-scoring game. Rams had their chances. Stafford threw for 375 yards and 3 touchdowns that day. It was a quarterback shootout. And so you got the Super Bowl, basically MVP going. Look, I know, Marshawn, I know that, Lynch won the MVP. Or Kenneth Walker, I'm sorry. Kenneth Walker won the MVP.
Yeah.
But, they're not winning it without what Sam did. And so, you get the two great young quarterbacks. You get Sam Darnold, you get the MVP of the league and Stafford. I think that they should be the number one seed right now in this whole tournament. It's June 2nd here, Joe. Doesn't mean anything. Injuries can always play a part, but Stafford's coming off the best season he ever had. And Sean McVay has proven that he's an elite coach. And Mike McDonald's proven that he's an elite coach. So I would say Rams first, Seattle second, San Francisco third right now.
Well, you just look, and it's a good point, just how stacked this division is, Baldy. It's so insane to me. I got the news on my phone as soon as our show ended with Shasky and I about Myles Garrett being there. And just Sean McVay, boy genius, Super Bowl champion, right? Is the guy even 40? I don't even know. It feels like he's been in the league forever. Mike McDonald, the new kid on the block, right? He's kind of like the defensive boy genius that Sean McVay was for so many years on the offensive end. And then Kyle Shanahan, the guy that's been to 2 Super Bowls, knocking on the door constantly and just coming up short. Hell, if most teams had the pick of the litter right there, you couldn't go wrong with either or all three of those head coaches. But it is just such a stacked division. And it's almost like, as we have like the Western Conference Finals just happened, right? You had the Thunder, you had the Spurs. It kind of feels like the NFC West is almost like the Western Conference and the NBA, just absolutely stacked, man.
Yeah, it starts, honestly, Joe, it really starts with the coaching. There was a time when Kyle and Sean were on the staff in Washington from Kyle's dad, and Kevin O'Connell and Mike McDaniel, all these guys were there. And it was just one big thing. It was just, it was just one big think tank. And it would be like, it'd be like that valley in San Francisco where all these great, tech companies were built. It was a little bit like that. And so what happened was, Mike McDonald got together with, John Schneider, and Kyle got together with John, and, and Les got together with Sean McVay. And so they've got general managers that are lockstep with the coaches, but it's all about the coaching. And you can see all the coaches, Clint Kubiak this year. You can see all the guys, that Kyle has lost, and Robert Saleh, different guys. And now, obviously, the drain that has happened to the Rams. These guys are at the top of their games. And so that's where it's at right now. Everybody else is looking up. There's a couple, Andy Reid and, what they're doing in Philadelphia. There's only a couple places where these think tanks are going on right now where you've got a chance every year to compete.
No, it's a good point. And you bring up Philadelphia. I do want to get your thoughts on the A.J. Brown trade. Obviously, it was kind of the lesser of the two big trades because maybe it's been rumored for a while. It's like the biggest unkept secret in the league that A.J. Brown wanted to go to the Patriots for so long. And it was a 2028 first-round pick, which I found interesting, rather than a 2027 first-round pick. But just tying it back to the Rams, obviously they have Myles Garrett now. You got Braden Fisk. They had Trent McDuffie. And now there's rumors, Baldy. Could Aaron freaking Donald come out of retirement and join Myles Garrett? Could you imagine real quick the two Hall of Famers, maybe the two best of their position, defensive tackle and defensive end of their era, joining forces?
I could see it. I honestly could. I mean, Aaron Donald, if you watch anything that he does on social media, he looks like he's never worked out harder than he does right now. And he does it with a smile on his face. But to line up, with what they already have in, Byron Young and Kobe Turner and the whole group up front. But if you added Aaron Donald back to it just to go get one more, I could see Aaron Donald actually coming out of retirement to do it. It wouldn't be it's not far-fetched. It just isn't. He knows the culture. He knows what they're doing. He knows he's got a quarterback. He knows he got the head coach. Like I could see that. And then, to do it really in a division with Seattle and San Francisco, that's almost the cherry on top. I mean, what's Aaron Donald want to do but take down the beast, and take down the champion? It adds even more, shine to the ring that they might be able to get. I could see him doing it.
Absolutely. And it's just another headache if you're a 49er fan waking up this morning. And I get it. You're angry, you're sad, you're frustrated because your own division rival, the LA team, right? The team that beat you to get to the Super Bowl and win at SoFi Stadium a few years ago, they get richer. And it's not like the Niners have done anything wrong this offseason, right? Like they added Mike Evans, a really good future Hall of Famer in his own right. They added some other pieces in the draft, Deshaun Stribling, right? They've added weaponry and they've gotten younger in certain places, but it's just you look at the name recognition of a Myles Garrett and then potentially on top of a guy that's caused so much torment and an Aaron Donald on top of it. It just feels like, you're taking a step back as the other teams are taking a step forward. But where would what would you tell Niner fans that are waking up this morning, maybe just feel a little frustrated? Because I was trying to say on the show this morning, like as good as the Seahawks are, as good as the Rams are, I think Kyle Shanahan showed you as a coach last year, Baldy. Like this guy made lemonade out of just, I don't even know, oranges. I don't know what you call it. He didn't have Fred Warner. He didn't have Nick Bosa for most of the season. He got nothing from Brandon Ayuk. You lost George Kittle, in that Philadelphia Eagle game in the wild card round. You lost Brock Purdy for a huge chunk of the season. And yet they had a chance to win that division that was so freaking loaded. I mean, that gave me all the confidence in the world heading into this season. If they can stay healthy, they got action.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like Kyle's an elite coach. He just is. I mean, I know he doesn't have the Super Bowl ring